So you're looking to get into web development? That's awesome. In this explainer, we're going to cut right to the chase. We're skipping all the slow, frustrating stuff and setting you up with a professional workflow right from your very first line of code. We'll cover the essential tools, a few magic shortcuts, and the core habits that'll make you a faster, more confident developer.
So let's just dive in. The person who inspired this put it perfectly. The prep work is done, the tea is finished, now it's time to get our hands dirty and actually write some code.
Okay, first big question. You hear all about Python, JavaScript, all these super complex languages. So why on earth do we always insist on starting with HTML? I know, it might seem a little basic, but trust me, getting this right is the secret to unlocking everything else.
Here's the thing. The most important thing you build with HTML isn't a web page. It's confidence. You get to see your results right there on the screen almost instantly. And that builds momentum. That momentum makes tackling something like JavaScript or Java feel way less scary. And think about it. All the hot frameworks right now, like React or Spring, they're all about the web. And where does it all begin? Right here.
All right, every craft needs a great tool. And for modern web development, that tool is, without a doubt, Visual Studio Code.
Look, there are other editors out there for sure, but we're focusing on VSCode for a reason. It is the undisputed industry standard right now. It's free, it works on any computer, and it's packed with powerful features that are going to dramatically speed up your work, as you're about to see.
Okay, time to take our first practical steps. This might seem super basic, but getting this set up right from day one is an absolute non-negotiable. It's a professional habit you need to build. So here's the three-step process. First, make a new folder just for this project. Please, don't just save a random file on your desktop. Second, and this is key, drag that entire folder into VSCode. Why? Because web servers don't serve single files, they serve directories. Finally, inside VSCode, create your first file and give it a very specific name, index.html.
But hold on a second. Why that name? Why not home.html or myawesomepage.html? This isn't just some random thing people do. It's a piece of web history that still affects how the whole internet works today.
Here's the secret. Way back in the day, the web servers that pretty much ran everything, I'm talking about the legendary Apache server, they had a rule. The rule was, if someone asks for a folder but doesn't name a specific file, just automatically look for a file named index.html and show them that. It became the universal front door to a website, and that standard is still very much with us today.
Okay, our file is set up. Now let's talk about a tool that will completely change how fast you can write code. It's called Emmet, and the best part is, it's already built right into VS Code, just waiting for you to use it.
This slide shows you everything. On the left, you've got the school method, manually typing every single bracket, every slash. It's slow, and it's so easy to make a typo. But on the right, that's the pro method. You type a tiny abbreviation like H1, you hit the tab key, and you let the computer do all the boring work for you. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
All right, you ready for your first real superpower? Open that index.html file you just made, type a single character, an exclamation mark. Now hit the tab key and boom! Just like that, Emmet generates all the boilerplate code, the doc type, the head, the body, every single thing that every web page needs. This is your starting point for pretty much every project from now on.
So, you've written some code. That is fantastic. But now we have to deal with one of the most tedious, annoying parts of old-school web development, actually seeing your changes.
You know the stance. You make a tiny change in your code, you hit save, you switch over to the browser, and nothing's different. So you hit refresh. You do this 100 times, 1,000 times. It's a total waste of time, and it completely breaks your concentration. But there's a much better way. The solution is a simple but absolutely game-changing VS Code extension called Live Server. You install it once, and it completely gets rid of the refresh problem. It creates this perfect, seamless loop between what you're typing and what you're seeing.
So how does this magic actually work? Well, it's pretty clever. Live Server fires up a tiny little web server right on your computer. When it shows your page, it secretly injects a little piece of JavaScript into it. That script's only job is to watch for when you save your file. The second you do, it tells the browser, hey, reload yourself now.
So what's the big takeaway here? 0. That is how many more times you will have to break your focus to manually hit the refresh button on your browser. This simple tool lets you stay in the zone, focus on your code, and see your results instantly.
Welcome to the modern workflow.
So look at what we've done. You now have a professional environment. You've got the right tools, the right file structure, and an instant feedback loop. But what about all that code that Emmett just generated for us? What in the world does doc type actually mean? What's the difference between the head and the body? Understanding that structure, well, that's your next mission. And it's the key to truly mastering the web.